Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am your Destiny Dad, and it is Friday, about 1:30, which means our lovely pal XUR is here, amongst other things in Destiny. So, let's go and take a peek at his inventory and see what he brought us this week. Alrighty, first and foremost for his catalysts this week, we have Cold Heart and we have Polaris Lance. Polaris Lance and Cold Heart are both really good exotics, and their catalysts are really good as well. I believe for Cold Heart it is just a stat bump. I can look here on Dim real quick. Yeah, it gives you plus 20 stability and plus 20 reload speed, which is very nice. And Polaris Lance adds Firefly or Dragonfly? Adds Dragonfly onto your already explosion creating gun. For your Hunter exotic this week, we have Knucklehead Radar, a exotic that has crept very high into the meta. It's been a favorite exotic of mine for a long time, and it almost makes me not want to use it now because of how meta it is. Which is kind of silly, I know, but I don't like using meta. So when something that I like becomes the meta, it always makes me want to shift away from it. But base stat of 66, 23 resilience, 18 strength. Pretty interesting role overall, I'd say. I don't know that I like that stat line on Hunter personally, but maybe it works for your build that you have going, so give it a check. For Titans, we have Peregrine Greaves. These are another very, I'd say they're more niche side of the meta, but they do exist within the meta. Very strong for PvP especially. We've got a base stat of 67. We have 19 strength, 13 resilience, and a few 10s scattered throughout the rest. Definitely a decent pick if you do not have them already. And for our Warlocks, we have a Wings of Sacred Dawn with a base stat of 65, 16 mobility, 13 recov, and 14 intellect. For something like Wings, I don't think that that's a terrible stat line. Wings are going to be mostly useful in like PvP. I don't think many people are rocking these in PvE. So I could see a 100 mobility, 100 recov, 100 intellect on like a well in PvP, right? Somebody who's using Igneous Hammer or the BXR rifle or something like that with Icarus and all that on. I could see someone slapping these on. So if you're that kind of a person, you want to try that playstyle, I'd say go for it. And last but not least, this week we do have exotic class items. These will change in his inventory depending on which class you sign in on. I am currently on my Hunter, so he has the cloak. For our strange offers this week, we have our normal materials and we have Vanguard engrams. I am really trying hard to get a good rocket launcher, so I will probably pick these up. For the strange gear offers, the Hawkmoon as always with surplus, alloy mag, and chambered compensator, and smooth grip. I would personally probably pass on that roll. I've talked about surplus before. It's not my favorite, but it's not a bad perk. It's just not a perk that I enjoy using a ton, but a lot of people really like it, and it is strong when you get it rolling. So if that's for you, then it's for you. If it's not, it's not. Up next, we have the Arbalist. This thing is super strong, super good, super top tier meta end game utility weapon. If you don't have it, please get it. It's phenomenal, and everybody should have it always in their inventory. Up next, we have the Hardlight. While this one is not quite as meta as some of the other options we have this week, it is still very fun. It's a super fun gun that is just I don't know. It's a very fun gun. I don't know how else to say it. It has gotten a rework or a buff, I don't know, maybe both, to its perk. And when you apply debuffs matching the element that it is, you get a big percent damage increase. So that's like, if you're on Void, Invis counts as that. I have a whole build with this for PvP, with this and 6 Coyote and Prowl, and it's very obnoxious in 6s. But you're just running around flat-footed with the 10% damage bonus all the time. If you're on Hunter and you're using like Omni, or if you're using Gerfalcon, you can imagine the kind of stuff. If you're on Solar Hunter, Radiant 24/7, right? Something like Arc on Arc Titan with Storm's Keep, you know, very synergistic with your subclass. And if you have anything that like gives your weapons, I don't think there's anything, maybe if you're in your super on Warlock, your solar weapons will deal like burn damage, right? I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything on the Arc subclasses that like gives your gun volt rounds if it's Arc. That would be a really nice touch, because I know in your Void super, like your subclass, you can give your Void weapons volatile. But anyway, definitely worth a pick if you don't have it. It's very fun, very interesting, very unique, and very strong since its rework. Last but not least, we have the Queen Breaker's Bow. This thing is so strong right now. If you do not have it, please get it. And also, please get the Catalyst. I know Zor does not have it right now. You can get this from Crucible matches, Strikes, or Gambit matches. And as far as I know, there is a bug or glitch or whatever you want to call it, where you can go and play private matches and set it up so that you win the match within like 5 or 10 seconds. And you get rewards for doing that. So if you don't want to play actual Crucible, you don't want to run actual Strikes, you can go and sit for like under 5 minutes and you'll get this Catalyst from doing solo matches. Super strong, top tier meta, especially like Inspire the Watcher on Ultimatum. Most teams are running this or 1,000 Voices. Definitely pick this up. For our legendary weapons this week, we have Until Its Return. This is a really fun shotgun. I like this one quite a bit. I believe it's craftable, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, is this the craftable one or is the other one the craftable one? Got my shotguns, yes. This one is craftable. What do we have on mine? This can come with Overflow and it can come with Trench Barrel. So I would probably definitely craft it over using this roll. However, Surrounded's not bad. But if you do not have it craftable and you would like to craft it, pick up a few, use some harmonizers, and get that thing craftable. Up next we have Nightshade with Enlightened Action and Headseeker. Light mag, pen mag, poly rounds, extended barrel, and range masterwork. This thing actually really cooks. This thing is a really great pulse rifle in PvE as well as PvP. Being said, in PvE you can get Hatchling, which is obviously better than Headseeker, but this thing is just a really nice, strong, good feeling pulse rifle that I definitely recommend. Next up is Widow's Bite with Slide Shot Quick Draw. Actually, this is like a real solid PvP roll, not gonna lie. Corkscrew, Extend Mag for bonus AE, Slide Shot Quick Draw, Stability Masterwork for more flinch resist. I hate this archetype of sniper personally for PvP, but a lot of people do like them. If you are one of the people that does like them, then definitely go for that, because that's a solid roll. Next we have Grid Skipper, Firmly Planted, High Impact, Alloy Mag, Hammer Forge, Chambered. I think that this roll is probably okay. but I don't think that it's worth going for, considering that you can just farm the new ones currently. And the new one has origin trait and a few better perks. Doesn't have anything crazy, but definitely has a little bit more value than the original. After that, we have the 7th Seraph Saw with Clown Cartridge firing line. We do not sadly have a mag boosting mag, but we do have a decent magazine with ricochet rounds. Overall, I think this is a pretty solid roll. Solid like 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5 maybe. If you don't have a good damage dealing machine gun and you want one, I know machine guns are not the DPS meta currently, but Bungie likes to buff them up randomly every now and then, and if you want to have one in your vault specifically for when that happens, this is going to be a pretty decent option. Up next we have Behringer's Memory with Pulse Monitor and Demo. This is a very old grenade launcher, and I don't believe that this thing has too many great rolls on it, if I'm being honest. Let's see. You can get Clown Cartridge in the left column, and you can get Clown Cartridge in the left column, and that seems to be about it in terms of what is good on this gun, sadly. So, and last but not least, we do have Quick Fang with Tireless Blade and Flash Counter and Jagged Edge. If you just need a sword with Flash Counter, this sword will work because it has Flash Counter. And I guess that is about all I can say for that roll of that sword. Alrighty, and for our legendary armor this week at XUR, we have the Holdfast set, an old set of armor by this point, from Season of Arrivals, I believe. For your arms, you have a base stat of 62, 18 resilience, and then 10s kind of across the board. For your chest piece, you've got a base stat of 64 with actually really nice spikes in resilience, mobility, and intellect. It's a little low on the base side, but those spikes are actually very, very nice. Definitely keep an eye on that one. Check and see if any of your builds that you need to bump some stats up on can make use of this. We've got our cloak, which as always does not have any stats. We got our helmet, which is a base of 65 with 16 resilience, 15 discipline, 16 intellect. Not bad. And then we got our legs with a base of 66 with 24 recov, 16 discipline, and 15 intellect. Not a terrible roll of your gear for this week for your hunter. Alrighty, so for the Titan this week, we have Tireless Blade and Whirlwind Blade? Both Blade? Yeah. On Crown Splitter, we have no Jagged Edge. Yeah, Whirlwind is nice, and this sword overall is nice, but I would probably pass on that myself. For your armor, we have a base stat of 61 on your arms, 18 resilience, 10 discipline, 14 strength. Base of 64 on your chest piece with 15 resilience, 16 discipline, and 10 intellect. Class items, as always, without stats. For your helmet is a base 64, 10, 10, 12, 7, 10, 15. Not very spiky, but a nice amount of stats across the board. And then, ooh, the legs are a base 63, 29 mobility, and then 10, 10, 10 in discipline, intellect, and strength. If that 29 was just in resilience, that would be one of the best pieces of armor I would have ever seen at XUR. The sad, it's so close to being so good. And realistically, it still is pretty good for like a low base stat piece of armor. That's like insanely good. So rare to see even close to 30 stat armor, right? Like, even myself, I don't think that I have more than a handful of pieces of 30 stat, so. And for the Warlock this week, let's see what we've got going on. Hit a quick refresh because Dim does not like to change our stuff when we move from character to character for some reason. There we go. For Eternity's Edge, we have energy transfer and surrounded with no jagged edge. Yeah, I think I would probably. Can this one get flash counter in right column? It can. For Titans specifically, energy transfer flash counter on a Stormkeep Titan with Stronghold would actually be insane. I never thought of that. Obviously, this does not have that role, but that's just something to keep your eyes out for. For your Warlock armor this week, we have Holdfast Gloves with a base stat of 65, 16 resilience, 15 recov, 16 strength. Actually, really solid arms. I think I probably have something along those lines, but I'll check on that later. For your chest piece, base 65, 15 mobility, 16 recov, 23 strength. That almost matches up with your this. If they just switch the strength to intellect, that would be a perfect. Well, never mind. I'm a little slow. That's a chest piece. Your class item, as always, does not have stats. Helmet is a base 62. Ooh, this stat line is really nice. High recov, high discipline, decent strength, a little more mobility than I would like, but it's still very nice. And then your legs are a base 67, 16 resilience, 12, 10, 11 in the respective following stats. Those are actually nice legs. Not super spiky, but pretty high stats across the way. Definitely worth a look. Sir, this week has been pretty reasonably well stocked. But with all that being said, I think that is going to wrap us up for this week. What else? Heavy Metal, the new game mode with Brigs and Tanks, is out, as well as Trials this weekend. So go check those out, see what you can get up to, and I will see you all next time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do be sure to leave a like. And if you want to stay updated on XUR and get some hot takes on weapons and armor, and hear some of the math behind the game that makes the game do the game things, be sure to drop a follow so you can never miss a video in the future. That being said, thank you all, and I will see you all next time.